You see, there has always been something wrong with Article 146, particularly with the procedure that it sets out, and especially as it regards the position of the Chief Justice.
What is so trivial about traveling with your husband and daughter when they are not supposed to be part of it and giving them per diem? You and I are tax revenue. Someone who is supposed to know. If the former Chief Justice Sophia Akuffo wants me to take her serious and to see her as an honest person, she must return the land that she bought for 7,000 at Cantonments. As a value, I'm scandalized.
Moroccan, now ban for a bar on every member of the Supreme Court, not only the Chief Justice, all off. See, come on, some. And cannot 2029. Yakopon to super go MPP and do power BMA. Everybody, because now the office of the Supreme Court.
You
are
a lawyer.
I'm 100%
a lawyer
of 20 plus years
experience.
Because
you're throwing this threat to our judiciary, especially the Supreme Court.
Ubadian say they removed Chief Justice Gertrude Torkornoo. Mameno asaku pimu ECOWAS court. Osi case of fallacy John Dramani mama ne NDC abense Ghana for. Omo tren na nidie so. Omo tren fa hu die so. Omo tete na brabo no. Case no ase the Attorney General Dominic Akrotinga yi ne David. Just say say afi mo amfi. Omo yi omo nti ECOWAS court nzam from omo amfa ni die amfa ECOWAS court. Responsible from Attorney General. Na same way who did they obia threaten former Chief Justice Sophia Akuffo obia threaten no one threaten no hey if I know there you no face oye no face wase wan fast asase na ma asase na oto no cantonment 7,000 say you to cantonment as 7,000 what to know we e be claim holy ha oboa enya why naked truth Oldboga trends. And you know that's about compare unim nebo Maxi Billian. Yes, now you have former and removed Chief Justice Gertrude Torkornoo. Also on now you on say what you wani he omugasi wada onko e kra o da so jakwanche he wako ECOWAS court say $10 million na ngesi mutua na ho muntua no na mo say we remove na entitlement na no nsansan kan na na on sentimi go echi e friend say Supreme Court justice na twe kai on from born nchemo da e di dey say the all here say ECOWAS court asema me de ba yi besi ne Ghana fo me yi omo anu and the ECOWAS for try ba na mo so aden na dada Mumra inside there punishment yaba na way ana former Chief Justice Sophia Akuffo ese hwe eni ya asem na esiye nya asem ye di nipa man ye wadwen ho tese oda ho dwen ho ankontiase am say in council of elders na Mahamade ade ba ya mon dodo na agi tu mu se case yenko mu nti ba ne se na nei Mame, after the wawa babontin a wo say condolence message. Also dey be. Grounds na ye di mame Gertrude Torkornoo no. We. O say ye trivia. Aya sem kitwa bi. Aden ya obi de ne yere ne kunu. Ene ne ba atu kwan. A odi Ghana siga na enti na aye den. Also obeka tren so on shedden. Onyina yie. Na de asie no. Ebi kura ne Nyankopon pese odi ne kɔ bia kese kura chen bibia wo no na wi ase Nyankopon ma asem nto kwa asem to a na o prepare for the kese de wonim se enye de bia wate asem bitime to na je se wo wie ya na aba no but according to Sophia Akuffo de ojitum se ono a also former Chief Justice no we bi pen wonim se de tutie am say mami enye wo na wi sha na to say on procurement sikasem kro ya o ono kura de odimane se petition mama ni huma na hu biu Sophia Akuffo man ma support de women supporting women pa mame What's in the pan and handy away with the trivial issue?
I'm very sad about it. It has really saddened me. And maybe in a way, I feel very distressed by it. Yes. The sadness is about the whole process. My sadness is because as far as I'm concerned, it was a very unnecessary. We have been taken through a very unnecessary situation, and which, as far as I'm concerned, and that is my honest and candid view, this has so weakened the institution of the judiciary. It's not so much the individual who occupies their position. It is the institution. That is what I'm concerned about.
I mean, what informs the conclusion that it's an unnecessary process? I mean, we have heard even government spokesperson make the point that a petition was sent, a committee in line with the constitution was set up, they've looked into the matter and they've come to a conclusion. Which aspect of it, what specifically makes that necessary?
I think that, you see, there has always been something wrong with Article 146, and particularly with the procedure that it sets out, and especially as it regards the position of the Chief Justice. In the Ajay case, I took the opportunity to reflect on that weakness that I noticed, and are these and these are not so, to me, they lack the gravity. They lack the gravity that would lead to a grave outcome, such as the removal of the head of an institution of justice. I've deliberately phrased myself that way. It trivializes the position, and I wonder what this is going to lead to further on along the line, because
now onwe na say Deputy Attorney General say twe kai chese die Mami Sophia Akuffo oma na nya trimopo bi say na maame no time oye chief justice no na oso ye bi o se ampanyampa se wu nya bi a ade na obi be ye bi a waka se bi normal trivia de na trivia na wie na gas fe o ka kire Mami Sophia Akuffo say asem na esie na o se we de nya se bi anke ni kwase we gina we so yini no I say debi o obi wi abante ye che no o se meti we me prosecutor among for bokro mo 5 years 10 years 15 years krono ketwa ye fi se we de nkan na so moro so bia no ye dieli omo na wo se obi a Ghana mra no ona na da mra ni na no ono di Ghana sika e di ahwe ono no na sesi ya no obi ko tena office na o di zeros kakraka ho na o yesika na o le sika no ko den ne die no so gwa godi enya musefo no de kwa kwahwe enti wo di Ghana sika na kwa kwahwe wabusuya wo de mo tukwa kwa chile mako fili ejeze mo chile ana ye blidi na ma fili ni awie na yeze Ghana sika na mo de ko ye mo se pion mu wie ya wo se enye issue bia se we ye issue issue ba e be dina so e de ye obi am na yi.
Why should it be that the president can't at will give money to people, even parliament cannot at will give money to people, spouses or family members of the president, and then in another case, we would say that it is, we should. And the question of, I said it's a question of standards, Maybe it is, we have to make a choice as a country whether we want our leaders to be excused from some of these things so that they can do it, and then we just ask them to return the money. Recently, where I sit, I prosecute people, okay, so many people in this country, when they commit a certain crime, we jail them 5 years, 10 years, and all. So if the position is that we should excuse leaders or those who are at the top of the, let me call it the political food chain, to do certain things without holding them to account, we can adopt that as a country. And if the other school of thought is that for persons who are at that level, they should even be held to a higher standard, in the sense that they know, they know and ought to know that this should not be done, right? So if they allow that to be done, we have to decide that we will leave them to go or not. But I believe that the standards have been considered by a panel of 2 Supreme Court judges and 3 other persons, with the former, auditor, general. I would defer to their, conclusion as against their appreciation of the standard as against the former Chief Justice.
Oh, yeah, guys, here. Sir, Mame Gertrude Torkornoo. The case is where was no say or say was for I don't mind confusion na. Or say somebody can buy no, you buy and you try to say money grounds. Mo dey betimi hold it. Sa case because Ghana no e constitution na or the born bra. Mo ECOWAS court mo ni judicial. Enti on that grounds mo dissolve say case ni ground no beto aso. Na asem no ye ka no ECOWAS court ho. Emma ECOWAS court no judge for no ka ajani case no indefinitely. Yankasi ye tu ache that said that way and I said that way. Yes ye tu ache eda ye nim. Na se ya ye ne se wie. Na se ye ntem nka. Na ye metia mo se ya sa tira ba se mu egumra so se ye response mu from response by then response. O se response e de bia mu ka tira se mu ni mra mu ni za to me no. Se mo be kan ya asem because ye de ye 1992 constitution Ghana mra e na edi sa case yi. E na eri ye gina so. Enti mu grounds na mu de gina so. E de be free case ne de he. Ndo so Ghana for more last mu da mu na sa new ones na ba no o mekwa correspond. O mekwa ECOWAS nten no ma respond to ECOWAS. Muntu mu na ana me say what the every na Ghana ye mpene for do aye ECOWAS president chairman for ketwa. Bakai say afenyo markings we ECOWAS was say ko ECOWAS parliament. We say power that be a play role. Power to be exercise. Just as a commonwealth now, your name is a Gabi or Tadako. Hobby no, ECOWAS was named before the crowd so. Never record. I on parliament, you never record. So almost one because it's also judicial body. This is Omunya why. I guess in the Omedi. Also, Yadayana, be a fight.
Dawn, we woke up to another process which was served on us from the court, that the former Chief Justice is seeking judgment in default of defense. In other words, that we've not defended the substantive suit. We had 30 days to do so, and that we have not filed our defense. But our preliminary thought is that if we are objecting to the jurisdiction of the court, and the court has taken argument and has adjourned to give a ruling one way or the other, we do not exactly think that we have to file on the substantive issue, because the question before the court is whether the court has jurisdiction. The court has to clear that aspect first, and when it says that it has jurisdiction to assume, then they will order us to file our defense. And indeed, if the court was interested in getting the court could have ordered that we should file our defense together with our preliminary objection, because we were heard. It's not as if we argued that matter in court, in the ECOWAS court, and we were heard. And the court in adjourning didn't give any further direction. They told us that they are rising, and then they have adjourned the case, indefinitely. And when they come back, they will give us further directions. So we were waiting for the court to give us further direction, only to be served with a notice for default of defense. So that is where we are at the moment.
So what are the next steps? You'll be applying for that to be thrown out as well?
Yeah, we would have to file to oppose the application for default.
Kwaku ansa asare Our former director of the Ghana School of Law. Or say Sophia Akuffo, former Chief Justice. The woman who went papa. The one year no say, hey. Dear mammy, ye pa, dear. Who? Or see Nipa Council of Elders home. Now Nipa Council of Elders, no, yet is a grana obey a witness. 12 witnesses are. Mammy Gertrude CJ Torkornoo. Ediba na Okahubi. Anna was about one thing as a council of elder. Money education, Ibrahim Mamuni Gantanazo. It was a case in the crown, a primary facial case, and I say, your primary facial case. No, who was about one thing? Say, show, love, sharing, caring. They or saying you're fine. The all year in the same fatano and say, was it the way in the ground? I say to me as council of elder. I say, and clear no cry and from through. Now, Solomon was the man of the movement. Movement for change, after front party. I've run any free people go join after party in the fire brand. Was it first of all, former Chief Justice Sophia Akuffo. Obusehu. Sa asem na okay, nyema miensa pe na ogina so. E de aka de okay nyisa nka onka. Anisa, de asem. Ona say Uncle Wesley girls, get to the CJ Torkornoo so go Wesley girls. Omo mienu, omo ye ma, chese we de feminism. Omo kwa ma omo ho. Chese woman supporting woman. Ana na oye Chief Justice, ana we so ye Chief Justice. Anti just sa nyema miense pe. Ana ogina so de sa kanka mani campaign. Na enwati no ono no ne hote za de o ye just say ne hote o se na Charlotte o say no wa na yi no enye wa ebio nipa na o call for equity no o grow ni clean hands o go to asase e o cantonment a whole cantonment to fere bia Ghana ye duru cantonment asase amam photo no millions of dollars no o to 7,000 Ghana cedis wo no ye kan asem a wonya o se fa asase ne bra o de asase ne ba wia ni arese wan kasa no san hote.
Joshua, if I were the former Chief Justice Sophia Akuffo, I would have resigned as a Council of State member this morning.
Why?
She has lost every credibility she had before me. She has lost everything. You know, what she did yesterday was what we call solidarity. Yes, she knows the embattled Chief Justice in three fronts. First of all, she's a woman. She's also a woman. They all both attended Wesley Girls Secondary School. They both have occupied the Chief Justice position before. That was the only reason she did what she did yesterday.
Why? She didn't have basis for
what basis? You, on the matter of procurement alone, she single-handedly determined the prima facie case using the same Article 146. And we were in this country in 2017, somewhere July. She, through the judicial secretary, warned every Ghanaian that should you dare comment about what the committee were doing about Charlotte Oche's case, we all be in prison. This former Chief Justice told us that. What is so trivial about traveling with your husband and daughter when they are not supposed to be part of it and giving them per diem? You and I are tax revenue. Someone who is supposed to know. She does this and you say, oh, it's trivial. What are you talking about? I will call on the state security agencies to begin to go and investigate her time as the Chief Justice. Because it means she did worse. If she finds all these things are trivialities. It's a serious crime. If you are the Chief Justice, someone that can imprison someone, your bar is so high. What about the Francis Badin issue? In justice question matter, that the deputy director of ICT, you accused him wrongly that he had tampered with evidence. You set up a committee. When the committee went into the matter, they realized that nothing of that sort had happened and recommended the reinstatement of the gentleman. While you flouted the recommendation from the committee, you sent this gentleman all the way to Tamale to be in charge of court processes, something that he has no clue. Go and ask Fosuji Abo, that lawyer, and a lot of judges how she transferred them. Hey, things have happened. So you should allow us to live in peace. Okay. As for Sophia Akuffo, I've said the baby boomers in this country are a problem. You know the baby boomers, those that were born in the 1940s. They had everything cheap. At the university, they were even fed. They said they would go on demonstration because they were having too much chicken. They had everything cheap, but they had destroyed If the former Chief Justice Sophia Akuffo wants me to take her serious and to see her as an honest person, she must return the land that she bought for 7,000 at Cantonments. As a value, I'm scandalized. Who will buy land at 7,000? They still claim that she's honest.
But 7,000, that just a judge in Punu, a whole Chief Justice in Punu. Well, said the point they make at them, they be I own a kid. One day, make him on a kid to say, eh? A penny and we would do for Mamboefo. Featuring the baby of you. Featured any baby of you. What did the Solomon Usukaira? Or say, Omono, or say, baby, then there's a 1944. No. Omono, Omoto, or so many no go square. Your mom take it as I go on your mom, Yak one as I was it. Omo demonstrations I go Maria Mabre. Yen they I go square and go see ya, say good. Yeni na yekwa esese no ada aduane ngosi e woso no ngosi akeke o jubilation side of Daniel be ma oso muta na checking full checking omo wia no mabre no masa ko demonstration ya wia bre oso do mo didi good omo didi peche no mo say e future omo destroy ni na imagine someone and now capacity na oye Chief Justice no Ghana mra na odanu o wakota asase o cantonment who controversy and can be 7,000 Ghana cedis. That's as in them got to go a Casapin Cramaton say. The Cotos as a crowd for whatever to me choker. But on say, now wait, added to what sa and pitiful diabro. Now, Gloria, or for him, what do you say? Mammy, Gertrude Torkornoo and be before never a message, nobody am I. Or say, Mammy, and to us here, or relax, feel free, relax. Don't panic. Also, she's just 62 years. Or that's 8 good years and get so as a Chief Justice. MPP power 2028 are kai. Or Mary State, Mammy, I friends get to the Robert Torkornoo say, hey, as a MPP for minimum the amount. MPP for now was strong belief said by 2028 they'll be back in power. Monanu Yakotia, ya boom left right center. Chese boy ya boom na yobi hu bi da. See te ya odia by election by ya gap where's the 3,000 gap. Mo da so of him say 2028. Haye you know. Mo ba very claim power. Are you? Or say former remove Chief Justice. Get around to men panic. Don't worry. Everything will be fine. We will reinstate you back.
I also will assure her that since she's only 62, our Chief Justice has not even turned 63. She has 8 years ahead of her. If there's any...
In terms of what?
In terms of the opportunity to continue serving as Chief Justice. Okay. So if there's any new administration, then her situation could be looked at. Because as we said, 3 petitions came. One of them cannot even be identified. I'm told there's something called shining stars, whether it's a human being, whether it's a spirit, whether it's a ghost, whether it's an alien, you know, we haven't located them. And then you will also believe that if it's 3 petitions, then this committee, which has already been alleged to be compromised, will have looked at the 3 petitions. But they didn't. So the chief, people talk and they are giving the patients and all the attention, and I can't talk. I'm making my point. After you asked me to come and talk.
Yes.
Yes.
But I want to ask you a question.
So I haven't finished. So because of that, the Chief Justice, hello, can you hear me? Yes. So because of that, the Chief Justice has 8 years ahead of her. She can be reinstated by the next administration, especially considering the so-called unethical implications hanging on the 5-member committee, and also considering that some of the petitioners could not even be located, and all that. So all these anomalies, which we can go into, but which we don't have time, will guarantee that she's reinstated. So she should hold her peace.
Now, another threat from an MPP man. Honorable Ajapa Mesa say, some judges now NDC for Fanina, your mama. Judges now Fanina. The very day MPP ever stepped back into power in 2028, they will sack them all. Sack them all. Sack them all. Hey, MPP. You see that? When Minister threatened the member NDC for Nigeria, don't you know? Said they almost say, Say omoba power 2028 2018 dem so say bibi ni bi enim say the omoba power. Omo so omo sake Supreme Court judges woni ni na. He, ugazo unye say ma unye say mistake na we me ba be ka sema kire o. Say the John Dramani mama ye chest na kwa ni bono. It was always a good na.
Right from 2021 elections petition and this Vodoko court. One Nankasa, one national chairman, on record to have said there are some no Vodoko court Nankasa, and then one hour when him then to be on him. I was started to brand the Supreme Court of Ghana as an MPP arm. Our number what promise what came Ghana if we now yet say there's a when you can't what about Benuma they would do exactly what they're doing. Come on, and because you can't. When this shambolic petition started, when the Council of State issued its opinion, when the president proceeded to suspend the Chief Justice, the Ghana Bar spoke. Right-thinking Ghanaians spoke. But they were bent on doing what they intended to do. Where's what's important? No, obey. And see, I mean, statements no over out. Felix, Minister for Government Communication, opposed the letter on social media. More comment was saying, we hear you. Kudos to you all. Kudos to yourselves. Come on, some. Moroccan now ban for bar on every member of the Supreme Court. Not only the Chief Justice, all off.
How?
Then see, come on, some. And cannot 2029. Yakupon to super go MPP and do me power BMA. Everybody, because now the office of the Supreme Court.
You
are
a lawyer.
I'm 100%
a lawyer
of 20 plus years
experience.
Because
and you're throwing this threat to our judiciary, especially the Supreme Court.
Per the actions of Mr. Mahama and his government.
MPP government
has rendered unaware. Then what else would you expect to be done? I want to know from you. Because now we've been told that the Supreme Court bench is coterminous with the office of the president. Finish.
Nana ya jantua oye admo the presidency was say asem no eye ne ya because oyo ba jaya on person be kan kese. Name no Gertrude CJ Torkornoo maame no wanya de asase no ba no de wiase na why desperate e ma no hu say ene de omuda to si je mpa hwa na wodi fo because ade a wo say wo nyeye de na wo ye press conference na wo kwa na wo kwa Ecowas court na wo kwa high court asem ohun za ne ma no say ade de ye bo kro no na so wa mo kro no na ohun pere wo sa na ummo kro no na wo police ne waja atare tuntuma eno no dwane unyane but the way na o ye na opo as opo to do agas o mame wa ma de na ye for too much wa ma na nya de on the ya but the right thing must be done and ya ye.
She shows so much vulnerability that at that point as if she wanted to lean on somebody, and that is my problem with Justice Torkornoo. She come across as a weakling, but she is not.
She showed too much vulnerability?
Yes, too much vulnerability.
How did she do that?
Yeah, because the way she was just going up and down doing press conferences, actually she was desperate.
She had one press conference.
But it was still a press conference. For what reason? She went to the Ecowas court, the Commonwealth Bar Association, which has no jurisdiction over us, wrote to Ghana, a sovereign state. I mean, that was even an insult. That for her to even go there and invoke that action on this nation was an insult. That the Bar Association of the Commonwealth can come to us and say that don't do ABCD. How? I didn't want to comment on that because it was very, very, I don't want to use the word, but it didn't make sense. And that's smug desperation going all over the place trying to get support. Go through the process. And for me, if anybody mentions the president's name, yes, he's the final arbiter. But then it means you are insulting the lawyers, the judges who sat on the matter. You are trying to say that they are not independent enough, they are not credible enough, and that they are pushovers. And these are members of the judiciary. These are members of academia. Professor Gisa taught me, a very credible person. Then now you are Domlevo. Domlevo, when he was sacked, he took it to court. The court acquitted and discharged him that it was a wrong move, and they asked that he should be given compensation, and he even said no. They even wanted to reinstate. He said it's okay. So what is this Justice Torkornoo? What is she doing?
Now, Maminka, chess and so John Dramani Mahama, Papa no. I've found a matter the entire Satawali, a friend say silent killer. First of all, Billian say Ora must work, but Ora a delay. A judge is for now, ya pack your good hormone, heading. One, if say not Chief Justice. No, Kakayan one home, Tedia, with Macleno. And you say the Electoral Commission, I say a clear. But over clear, no, I work for Chief Justice, so a bedding. And the Chief Justice, Kakayan, what ya pa, yan fanfaho. Nanipa na ono, or the petition the coin, Daniel Fury. Almost Ghana, Yasika for no, young kind trade. I no but also trade that. One no one. Almost your stock exchange you na papano. Or no the bigger shares. I'm say, Sanaska for Ghana and Yenim. And to any packet will be our say, John the money mamma go pushing. John the money mamma who say, Papa the country the command and Nadu unobo to be was out to have a beauty and ye Otilo afa. And then you're the command. Council of Elders, the economy, a certain a prima facie case. Ya can't be removing. You bring a new Chief Justice. Or no, I saw comply. No, didn't who because you know where any who and you know. Obianim said the next person online be electoral commission chair. Jin Mensa. So no flow we are more a new person also be take over. Knowing very well, say first two, you because of a moment man ye. The third person, I saw where you know where I don't say obey your money. The next case, they say you're appointing new 7 Supreme Court judges and more. Other ones, they say you're trying to create new tribunal court, everybody criminal cases and more. Cause the very day John Dramani Mahama, all launching the code of conduct. Ede man appointees for na chom say monfa suba pan konko ye aduma na wa anye suma pa no ye be yiwedi no. That same time oka say obeso of build a fundamental ebe strong, a foundation so strong enough the next person oba no kra intimi sano intimi say no. It is a new Supreme Court judge, new Supreme Court judges, new Chief Justice. And Krana shall say, Banon, rumor, and a bunch of Bafo Boni, and I bet was in a Duma from the action to the main. Then there's a constitutional amendment, a Gusua Ecoso. Ya Mendia, you better amending is a failure. A president cannot change only hand in appointing or changing a Chief Justice. Court process now be to make the Chief Justice. Based on seniority, and then Nema, you bet my criteria said, are you seeing what I'm seeing? Say, no, yeah, the next one. CEOs, directors, or occupy positions, and your political abuse. A bit my based on merit, where Juma Wire, or KPI, key performance index near the Ginaso, near the EU. And the Yemena, Afena, position be about, or director, way, CEO, way. I cover board director with board chairman with DB. And the next question says, why you 1 year, why you 1 year lawyer to the work now, you know, one building, one for through the institutions more, you have no job. Because BM said that the biggest problem and the political appointments. Now where your board chairman, wait, boss CEO, how wait, that's a policy for no. In the institutions in the building, acquire political institutions. To be able to clear that political institution, the only thing we can do, and I said the institution have to be able to provide competent people. Say, someone who is trying to be like Sadom Levumo type, Nibino, or even also say me go against any government appointee, the institution will remove me. No. The institution will have no bearing with the government. Or holding the government accountable. The police in here say no. Me IGP because say me political appointment they be. My fought through all the ranks and my merit and I may and this a could do election. Na say MPP na this ni bi mo asema yetimi che no e ma na ye. So there is ebe wona udi se muna otimi do asotro no e ma na ye. And the institutions have to work. And John Dramani Mahama Kai Abra Barack Obama ebe people Ghana no on it so. And I say I won't build the strong institutions and never Ghana. Aye. And the John Dramani Mahama is on the way of building the strong institutions. Where there will be government, there will not be government interference. And the only way to do that is to make sure say you best setting once and for all. There are many constitutions na man better. This time around, Yankopon Achanade 2/3 in parliament, meaning say Obetima is hiding in. And so the proposal they were going to never pay. The parliamentarians and you don't have a choice than to do it. Because one year because and we enemy of the republic. So you see what I'm seeing? Are you see my conspiracy theory? My drug theory come. We can see video in China says yeah. Or yes, open open. Where the government will have the president will have no interference because sign interference here why. And you can say president is out in so Chief Justice. And no one say Nana Blancofa get to Tarabasa Seki Torkornoo and come make political bidding and famano. Sanka court na produce the Chief Justice we in Emma and can make office politics any better than say you benya your political class now make the bigger class now. So we interfere. If that stops, if the easy, at the end stop it. If the etwaso now your CEOs, your board chairmen, and your people who are technocrats, they know what they are doing. And you know more heading those institutions are asa. Institution will start holding a government and any political party accountable. Then the political class will not dominate on us and be saying rubbish, doing rubbish. They say Ghanaians voted for the NDC. Not because they are NDCs, because they want Ghana. They are Ghanaians. Ghana first. Ghana first. So if say way and a the John Dramani Mahama person, oh yeah, and yeah, hallelujah, amen. And you know, I could pay Maxi, Billian, our naked truth on Oldboga trend. So subscribe it, like it, and for comment on the comment section. I say, Chief Justice before I remove Chief Justice, yeah, ready. Gertrude Torkornoo, Mameno, or that's so Kuntoka, or could request court. But Deputy Attorney General responded, say court in the Omeko, or me responded you. Said I'm responding first, said, hey, ECOWAS court, Muntimin Kayasem, as a medium family, or Mecca, as actually. Former Chief Justice Sophia Akuffo said, quiet fast ye, Gertrude Torkornoo, 3 years, you ain't yasim ya. Nemo no kai say council of elders no can be. Council of elders no can be na ono gra no according to leak information just say no a witness e decide ma Gertrude Torkornoo. The witness or president 12 witness no ma no can be. According to room on e ba no. MB before say say omoba power in 2028 omo pam judges na jomama eyomni na minim one catches some mobile power. And according to Mami Gloria, as say, hey, well, Mami no last what this is the 2 years pay. MP power no, not that so only 70. And you must raise it, you know. And I don't know one cast over power. Now, no, and I'm one who tear said the John man, hey, no. Your person in there said, oh, we are ready now, we are the next in line. Constitution they amended that the division say a president of the land ain't me appointed and that's only me remove Chief Justice. Ti be kwa yon be so abe here no. Ana kai say parliament 2/3 any city antifala agbena. For comments not to comment section na say we are na o subscribe, wa like, na wa share. Bye bye, Macron.